Alright guys, so today we're at Callaway's fitting center. This place is already epic. I mean, you could just see the range behind me. I mean, the thing is just, it looks amazing. But it's kind of hidden. It was kind of hard finding this place. It's up here in Carlsbad, so it's in our backyard, but it was still not easy to find. Just the way they like to keep it. It's behind a guarded gate. It's pretty intense. But you guys can see the whole center back there. They do putter fittings back there, and then they have some other R&D type stuff that goes on in there. But we're gonna be right back here. You guys can see those couple tents down there where Coach probably is. And we're gonna be doing a fitting today for full back set, woods, irons, wedges. And I don't know if we're doing putter or not, but we'll see. And we're gonna run you guys through it. We're gonna show you the numbers, and we're gonna film our fittings individually so you guys can see my fitting, Mike's fitting, and see what we end up with. And then eventually we're gonna release a part 2 video once we get the clubs and walk you guys through what we decided on. All right guys, I'm here with Garret at Callaway, and he's gonna be fitting me today. So we're gonna run through the whole bag, and you wanna tell him a little bit about the process?
Sure, we're gonna start loosen up with some irons. You're pretty happy with your irons right now, so we maybe don't have to do a whole lot of work trying to change ball flight or trajectory or distances with those. So we'll breeze through those and loosen up to get to the fairway wood where you're talking about trajectory needs to be a little bit higher.
Exactly.
See what maybe is causing the low ball flight, whether it's a center of gravity or a loft or a combination of those two, maybe a shaft that'll help.
Yep.
And then finish up with a driver that'll kind of get your left miss straightened out a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, and you guys know from seeing the videos, I tend to miss that driver to the left sometimes. So he was saying that the TaylorMade drivers that's kind of a bias that they tend to have, right? It's the left miss for lefty.
Relative to our drivers, that's often the case. Lefties will miss more left with the TaylorMades than ours. Righties often will turn ours over a little bit easier than the TaylorMades.
Awesome. All right, well, looking forward to it.
There might be some places in the world that would work, but in San Diego, that's not great. You want to maximize carry, and you get more on top of that. I feel like this is the tip of our
Yeah.
Okay,
one curve there.
Pretty much. That's really good. Now there's one you hit that hung a little right, like the second one you hit.
The muscles back's a little bit bigger dispersion, but a little more ball speed.
Oh, you had really good ball speed on the shots you turned over with that one, but those ones also were further offline to the right. When you get that thing drawing, it almost is more draw than maybe you need. Which doesn't necessarily mean that's the wrong option for you, but if you want that club to be a little more consistent with direction, I'd probably err on the side of making it harder to turn over.
Right.
You do that with lie angles. So flatten the lie angle, make it a little tougher to turn over, and essentially that'll just shift the pattern a little bit more to the left for you. Whereas with these almost don't need any sort of doctoring up. They've got the right launch and spin and ball speed and consistency.
So here's kind of what we're looking at. We got the muscle backs, and then got the forged bad boys right here. Definitely better dispersion for me with these guys, but man, this thing, when you hit it good, it just feels amazing. So big dilemma right now. As he was saying, you can kind of tweak this one a little bit to hopefully help with the dispersion, and I'd like to do that, you know, see if we can get this one fitted, but man, both of these feel money. All right, so what's the next step? Do we bend this bad boy?
So let's bend that a degree flat and then hit it again, and then that'll kind of make sense of whether or not you want a combo set at all, or if this is still kind of bigger dispersion, less consistent on distance control, which is your main, goal to really be dialed in, or just a full set of those.
Okay. My 770s, I'm going to give you guys the numbers, and then we'll talk about the other ones. So ball speed on the 770s, TaylorMade, was about 120 miles an hour. And the spin was right around 6,900 RPM. So he said it was a good, good spin rate. I think for the irons, usually you want to be right at the number. So 7 iron, 7,000. We're right around there. 6 iron, 6,000. Kind of follows that pattern. Forged Callaways, I was right around 6,800 RPM spin. So still pretty close. But ball speed, I picked up about a mile per hour ball speed. So a little bit more ball speed, and also the dispersion was a little bit tighter on that one. So that's definitely a win. A little more distance, a little bit tighter grouping. With the muscle back that he has, got even more ball speed on it, about a half a mile an hour more, right around the same spin, 6,800 RPMs, but the dispersion was a little bit big. So hit that club the farthest, the muscle back, but it was, you know, dispersion was big, so we're gonna see if we can tighten that up and go from there. So what was the change again? We're gonna just
1 degree flat. So the lie angle, right? This angle right here on the club. As you move that lie angle, it starts to have an impact on where the face plane points. So essentially, because the loft angle, where how much the face points to the sky, is a compound angle to the lie angle. As you change one, it affects the other. So we're trying to get your iron to draw a little bit less to try and minimize the miss to the right. So you flatten the lie angle a little bit. So this is a 1 degree adjustment to the lie angle.
Still felt pretty good though.
288,
definitely felt a little bit more, a little bit tighter than the original setup.
Trying to pull up a number here.
So for you, the worst.
So the dispersion from left to right, you're looking at about 50 feet now.
Okay.
From your furthest right to your furthest left, 50 feet.
Okay.
Before, about 70 feet.
Wow.
So I've tightened it up a little bit.
Yeah, 20
It
feet.
still doesn't necessarily address the fact that when you catch it a groove low, you lose some ball speed where your distance consistency wasn't as good as the initial testing with the X Forge, where a little bit lower center of gravity, thin head maintains ball speed, and therefore maintains the distance consistency a little bit better.
Yeah.
But you're kind of splitting hairs. You could go either way, really. So just to refresh your memory, the first time through with that X Forge, the variance in left-right dispersion, you're looking at about 20 feet. Yeah. And if we look at variance in distance, or carry distance, you range, you've got a 7-yard spread with the X Forge, so longest, shortest 7 yards, and with only 20 feet dispersion, pretty tight.
I like that.
You'd have to have a small green for those all not to land on the green.
Right.
The muscle back, after we got it flying a little bit straighter with the lie angle, the distance variance is still 15 yards.
Oh,
so a little wider just spread any way you slice it with that muscle back.
You gotta love that sound, man.
Yeah, I think can't argue with the numbers. I mean, 20-yard dispersion and only 6 yards in distance when I mishit it with this.
Yeah.
That's a winner. We found a winner. There she is. All right, so he's got the Project X 6.5 in here. I've been playing the 6.0, but
Yeah.
am I right on the cusp of either one, you would say? Or?
Yeah, and we don't always necessarily see someone hit the 6.0 versus 6.5 and then magically they're way different.
Okay.
The numbers often are more similar than you'd think.
Okay.
And oftentimes the big difference is just the feel that the player gets out of one shaft versus the other. Now sometimes when you're going from one manufacturer in a certain weight to another manufacturer in a totally different weight, it's apples to oranges, but when you're really, really close in two shafts, you tend to see the numbers be really, really close too.
What is that? Is it that Rogue?
Rogue Sub-Zero, 15 degree.
I heard the noise. I had to come over.
First one I hit was, I mean, it was probably the best 3-wood I've ever hit.
I heard it. That's why I had to come over here.
So, yeah, hit a couple a little bit to the left, so we just might need to tweak that, but dude, it feels really good.
Off to a good
It's
start.
way easier to get off the ground, so I have a 15-degree TaylorMade, but I tend to hit that thing pretty low, so like this thing, just the fact that it's getting up in the air is already a win. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was over there watching Mike hit irons, and then I heard something, and I was like, wait, what was that a 3-wood? Yeah, what was that beautiful ping noise? Yeah, that was it. That's what I came over for. Smashed.
Okay, average ball speed 145 at a 100-mile-an-hour swing. That's pretty relatively efficient. Ball speed to swing speed ratio. So it looks like on average, I didn't see any hit these while I was grabbing some waters. It's a fraction high on spin. You had one in there that you hit thin too.
Do you want me to hit a couple more so you can see the ball flying?
Yeah, let's see what it's looking like on a shot that you hit solid. Because you had a couple in here where they launched 9.5 and they spun 3,300. That's like right out of the 3-wood manual for perfect.
Yeah.
If your tendency is to hit it low on the club face,
Yeah.
that you mentioned your 3-wood's hard to get in the air.
This is already like twice the height of the other one, honestly. No, I mean, every now and then I'll hit a high, but this has consistently been higher
launching up.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's a benefit for players that are shallow, because they'll hit it low on the club face, try and get the center of gravity as low as possible so that you can get the CG under the ball better, so you can get the ball to launch up higher. You're going to be in heaven.
Oh boy.
So we got a couple options. We got a 9-degree driver as an option. We got a 10.5 that we can loft down to 9 degrees, and if you take a driver and loft it down, the face sits a little bit more open. So I'm a little bit weary about opening the face because you're already...
I like the way when I set this thing down, the face looks a little bit more shut, if you will.
Okay.
And
sits
or more
nice
square, I should say. It looks more square, and that just looks...
So what we'd want to try then in that case is the 9, set up the same way, where the face sits the same, but it's got a little less loft.
Initial driver impressions of a couple swings?
TaylorMade driver, you guys have probably seen a million videos with me just slicing that thing and hitting it to the left, and I managed that shot over the years, but this thing right off the bat the dispersion was so much tighter on it. And picked up a little bit of distance, a little bit of ball speed. We're going to see if we can optimize RPMs, but man, right off the bat, it already feels better. I'm not just saying that. I mean, they were going straight. Even some of the shots that I thought with my old driver would have been a lot more left, like out of bounds left type of shots. With this one, it was like 6-7 yards offline. So, man, I'm impressed.
All right, we're going to see what kind of luck we have with a Sub-Zero 10.5. And because we know he likes the face to look a little bit more square, and we know that this driver's set up a little bit more fade bias than the standard Rogue, I've got it set up where the face is a little bit more closed or squared up rather than sitting open, so it's lofted up a degree and it's set at the draw lie angle.
Okay.
So we're kind of...
See what happens. What kind of spin numbers are you looking for, Garrett?
At his ball speed and the way he launches the ball, which is not super high launch, mid-2000s is going to look like a perfect trajectory. So 24, 2700, he'll love it.
I see him licking his chops. I see him licking his...
draw.
Yeah.
This is a miracle.
That was nice.
That was a sweet ball there.
All right, so we're looking at 10.4. It's an increase in the launch angle of a ½ degree and a decrease in the spin of 300
That's
RPMs.
a good combo.
Ball speed stayed the same, which is fantastic. So sometimes if your launch goes up and your spin goes down, you want to make sure that it didn't happen just because you accidentally hit it a little high on the face. Because when you hit it high on the face, you get that gear effect we were talking about with the 3-woods, but high on the face would be the opposite, where the head deflects up, ball launches higher and spins less. In this case, we know you hit it pretty solid because the ball speed was as fast as any of the shots you hit before, and the launch is more efficient, and the spin's more efficient. And that was 282, whereas your average with the standard Rogue so far was 276. Your average with your old driver, 273.
Jeez.
So if we get a barrel of drives that look like that, the Sub-Zero is going to be a money club for you. So
and the confidence that you have with it, like when you feel like you can just swing at a club and you're not going to miss, that is just one of those things that this thing's not going to tell you, but you feel it, and sometimes you hold back, and I feel like I'm going to try to swing a little harder, and we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what, you got 158 ball speed right there. That's the fastest yet. 12 degrees of launch, 2,500 RPMs of spin, 288. Yeah, it might be there.
Sounded crushed.
Oh, good.
109 head speed, 160.1 ball speed, and in 2,800. So right now it looks like on a dead straight shot, which I'll call that last one, that last two pretty much perfectly straight. You're at 2,800 spin. When he picked up over his old driver, he picked up 12 yards anyway, and that's kind of like a bonus. The fact that he's splitting the fairway every single time is the real benefit.
Right.
So,
can't wait to play with this. All right, guys, so we made some big improvements, especially with the driver. I was absolutely ripping that the Rogue driver, and just really happy with this whole fitting. Everything's been an awesome experience so far, and we're going to run you through the setup that I'm going to end up ordering, and then we'll do another follow-up video where you guys can kind of see once they come in, and we'll show all the clubs off.
All right, guys, so with the driver, we ended up in a 10.5 Rogue Sub-Zero. And we didn't start with that. He was using a TaylorMade driver, and the dispersion was his main concern. He was missing it as a lefty to his left. We started with standard Rogue, and that instantly improved the dispersion, which on paper, that's our more forgiving driver, a little bit easier to draw, and it turned out to be just the case. But the launch and spin could have been a little bit better. Spinning at 2900, launching it at 9.5 degrees, not bad, especially considering he was hitting pretty much a fairway every single time rather than missing to the left. But we want to see if we could get better launch and spin. So we had two options, either to go down and loft, which would then bring the spin down, but it would also bring the launch angle down. So you might gain a little roll, but lose a little carry. Rather than go that route first, we wanted to see what happened with our lower center of gravity or our lower spin driver, which is the Sub-Zero. So the key to the Sub-Zero was whether or not he could square that up as easily as he did the standard. So we ended up trying it in the draw lie angle, which helps it turn over a little bit, some more upright lie angle, increasing the loft so that he maintains a nice high launch angle, and then putting it in the lowest spin setting possible. And it couldn't have worked out any better. He started turning it over just as easily, increased the launch often up to 10.5 and 11, decreasing the spin on a good shot with a baby draw down to 2500 or so. So really, really good. With the fairway wood, ended up in the standard model after trying the Sub-Zero. The Sub-Zero, he had a little bit of an issue missing it to the left relative to the standard model, similar to how his old driver was. So standard ended up being something that he could turn over easier, and he ended up getting more efficient launch and spin due to the fact that he turned it over easier. With the irons, didn't need to do too much. He already kind of knew his specs pretty good and had pretty good fitting before. He likes the perimeter weighted blade. He hit it a little bit more consistent than our Muscleback, although on a good shot the Muscleback was a fun club for him. But it was hard to argue against the dispersion he got with an X-Forged iron. We did have to strengthen the loft a little bit, so that kind of meant by the time hitting a long iron, he was going to need to replace it with an iron that launched it up into the air a little bit easier, which is one of the X-Forged utilities. So a little bit of a combo set, playing something that helps the ball in the air by the time he's got a low lofted club, and strengthening the loft of all the other irons to get the spin more efficient. And we did a little bit of a shaft test too. He used to Project X 6.0. Our demo just happened to be made in 6.5, and we decided to do some testing, one versus the other, and it looked like his shot shape or his dispersion, which is his main goal to have as good as possible with an iron, was consistency of distance, but that also kind of means consistency on shot shape, and his consistency was improved with the 6.5 slightly over the 6.0. So there we go. One thing to note, the one sticking out of the bag here with the wedge, due to the fact that all his full swing clubs are a little on the strong side, the 50 degree is going to be the loft of the gap wedge that will fill the gap better between the sand wedge and the pitching wedge that he's going to get. He did have a 52 in the past, but a 50 is going to kind of be a little bit more even space for that gap shot.
Perfect. Thank you so much, man. Big thanks to Callaway for setting up this fitting, and I can't wait to put that new driver in the bag. The irons felt great. The driver, the 3-wood, it all felt really awesome, but I'm super excited about that driver. Picked up like 12 yards, and this facility is top notch. If you guys ever get a chance to do a fitting up here, highly recommend it. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram, on Twitter, and check out their Facebook. We're gonna link to it down below. But next to me, we got a bunker. It's like St. Andrews style, nasty, 8-foot deep bunker. And Coach and I are gonna do a little closest to for $5, why not? And the first hole that we're gonna go to is gonna be the nastiest one of them all. It's literally right here. So you just gotta land this thing super soft, and let's do it, Coach.
Oh man, there's only about 5 or 6 feet of green to work with, and it's all slipping away. He's gonna probably have the advantage on this because he clips it so well, but...
You got a 64 though?
I got a 64. All right. Oh, it stayed up. Okay, that's pretty good. Ooh, that was very good. All right, those are 2 pretty good ones right there.
We're gonna both hit 2 shots. My 2 are right there. Closest one is about 9 feet. That's not gonna get it done. Okay, that's his first. He's gonna focus up now. Guarantee this one's better. Oh, look at how soft he hit that. Yo, you got it. Woo! Wow, that was awesome. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that video. Big thanks to Garrett for setting me up. I'm really excited about the driver, really about all the clubs. They all felt great, so hopefully we'll get them in a couple weeks and then we'll do an unboxing. It's just been a great experience out here. The facility is a 10 out of 10. And yeah, big thanks to Callaway. So make sure you guys follow them on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys turn on notifications and hit the like button if you guys are enjoying the video. All right, we'll see you for the next one.